Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where we talk about skincare, grooming, and sometimes hair, so if that sounds like your thing, make sure you are subscribed. Also, come and follow me on Instagram where I post a lot of stuff you're not going to see here on YouTube. I want to make 2020 all about the year that I really listen to my skin. Learn its likes and dislikes, and not just when it comes to a particular product, but techniques and how I use each product and how I basically touch my skin. But there are a few little tips and tricks that I picked up in 2019 that you may do already, but I kind of want to share with you. But these are things, little techniques that have made a huge difference to my skin. So let's just get straight into it, and let's start with the 60-second rule, but it's not what you think. I made a video about this technique quite a while ago, popularized by Nia Roberts-Smith. She is a popular esthetician, and this is simply massaging your cleanser into your skin for 60 seconds. This apparently works, and I quote, for every skin type, helps with breakouts, fade hyperpigmentation, and even texture. I tried this for myself for a while, and back then I didn't really enjoy cleansing for a whole minute, especially as I double cleanse. And I'm not sure about the validity of this actually doing anything other than cleansing your face, so I'm not sure if it really helped fade the dark spots or even out texture. It's just a cleanser at the end of the day, and it can only really do what the ingredients do. To cut a long story short, the 60-second rule is just a way to help break down makeup, sunscreen, all that kind of stuff, which I remove with an oil cleanser anyway. So why am I talking about the 60-second rule if I didn't really like it, if it wasn't really for me? Well, what that did teach me is that with each step of my cleansing routine, I should be paying attention to the whole face and spending time on it and making sure I'm massaging it in everywhere. When I have a quick cleanse, I don't know about you, this might just be me, but I miss areas. I do it so quick that sometimes I miss like here, I miss like my temples, like in the corners of my nose, because I'm doing a really quick cleanse, you know, the hairline, and I'm just rushing through my cleansing routine. I take time brushing my teeth, so it should be no different on my face. And because of the 60-second rule, whilst I don't spend 60 seconds on each area, I spend a lot more time just massaging the cleanser around my face, and I have to be honest, I have seen a difference in the amount of breakouts I get in certain areas. This is really down to, though, just having a proper cleanse, but taking that time to do a good cleanse made a huge difference. I always just cleanse properly in the evening, so I just splash of water in the morning, you know, so if you're in a rush anyway, it doesn't matter, but in the evening you should really take the time to look after your face and have a good cleanse. Not quite 60 seconds though. So the next tip is purely just a visual thing, and it's actually kind of weird, I don't know why I'm telling you. But one thing I've been doing recently is I'm always gentle with my skin, but recently I've been applying skincare to my skin like it is the most gentlest, like rice paper, you know, like really, really thin, and that any touch can break it. Trying to create as little friction as possible. I find that my skin tone just looks a lot better when I'm super delicate with my skin, which, as I said, we're all delicate with our skin, but I've taken it to a next level where I'm almost just kind of like this. Do you know what I mean? Like really, really just taking my time on my skin. I have that skin where if you push your finger on it, it's gonna leave a red mark and then it will eventually fade. But if I'm not delicate, or if I rush through my routine, my cheeks go really red, got rosacea anyway, but you know, the corners down here go red, my nose goes red, my forehead goes red. So there's absolutely real no technique or science behind this. I just find that personally, the more delicate I am with my skin, the more even it looks at the end of my routine, and the less bothered it looks as well. And it just looks unbothered throughout the rest of the day. It's not even a thing. I don't know why I'm saying that. Be super delicate, give it a go, and see if your skin looks better after. It's just more of an observation that I've made. The next one is not using towels, but I've started using cotton pads again. I've talked about this often on my channel about the not using towels. I've mentioned it a few times before. You probably noticed that in my routines, I don't use a towel or a cloth or anything, and that's for a couple of reasons. The one we all know and that people talk about all the time here on YouTube is bacteria. You're keeping a wet cloth in a room that's constantly hot and cold, like the bathroom, or even if you're popping it on a radiator, it's a breeding ground for bacteria, and it's kind of gross putting that on your face. But the main reason I do this is because, as you guys know, I like doing a kind of wet skincare routine, though there's not really a step where I have to introduce a cloth or a towel of any sorts. And I do this for just plain hydration reasons, and I just find that my products seem to settle on the skin, and it gives me a glow after my routine. So straight out the shower, I apply my toner, as you know. Wet skin, gently tap that in until my skin's just damp, then just carry on with my routine, and I kind of just keep like a damp kind of skin throughout the routine, and it just gives me this like natural looking glow. But I've talked about that so many times before, but not using a towel really did make a difference to the breakouts that I was getting, but also just the overall health and look of my skin. So why am I back using cotton cotton pads though? Well, there's a few reasons. As much as I like applying toner with my hands or spritzing over my face, which I still do, I feel like you get a really good even spread of product with a cotton pad. So my hydrating toners get to hydrate everywhere, my exfoliating toners get to exfoliate everywhere, and I'm not missing those important places like in the corners of my nose. And you may also see that even if you've done a double cleanse with a cotton pad, you're really able to get all that mist cleanser, especially in the hairline and for me in the beard line. As much as you concentrate on rinsing away any leftover cleanser can cause breakouts, and I'm guaranteed to get some leftover cleanser like up here or in here somewhere. So using a cotton pad just helps wipe that away. But cotton pads are wasteful, we know this. You use them once, you chuck them. And I've been on a desperate hunt for reusable cotton pads, and I hate to be negative, but they're really difficult to find. Like good, decent ones, but I found these okay-ish ones from Amazon. And what I like about these is they have a slight waterproofness to them, so all the product doesn't get absorbed into the cotton pad, and it goes on your face where it belongs. You know what I mean? Like the cheap drugstore cotton pads, they just absorb way too much product, and you end up using half of what you put on there initially. Also, I find that cotton pads, like drugstore ones, are just getting worse and worse. They're generally just crappy and leave a lot of lint all over your face. So if you get these reusable ones from Amazon, I'll leave a link down below. I've actually really been enjoying using them. I do need to buy more though, because I feel like I'm just constantly washing them. If you are a fan of the more traditional cotton pads, there's a brand called Jinmi. They sent me some cotton pads maybe 2 years ago now, but their cotton pads are actually made from 80% pulp and 20% rayon, which is a plant made from biodegradable fibers. And it makes them absorbent, but the product, you still get a lot of product from it as well, if that makes sense. You can kind of literally squeeze it out. So they're good for your face, but they're also really good for the environment as well, if you like that more traditional cotton pad feel. The next one is using less of each product. Not less product, but less of each product. We all know we should be using the right amount of product, but what does that really mean? I've become a huge overuser of skincare, especially in the evening. My favorite products, I am smothering them on my face. Especially in the evening, I like to go to bed feeling dewy and protected and like a glazed donut. But there really is only so much product your skin's gonna take anyway. But as I said, it's actually difficult to work out how much product you really need. If you grab a product and look at the back at the instructions, the majority of products say use a correct amount or a good amount or an appropriate amount, and it's very vague. And I feel like a lot of brands do this so you overuse their product on purpose, so you end up buying more. But one thing I've started to do is use the tiniest amount of product and then build up on it if I need to. Products like serums are easy to figure out how much you need, 2 to 3 drops. But a moisturizer can be difficult. I actually have a whole video, it's like a rough guide of how much you should be using of each product. So I'm going to use moisturizer as an example because I always overuse it, especially in the evening. I use the tiniest amount, spread that over one area, use a tiny amount on the other areas, then if I feel like my skin needs more, I will layer it back up. But this prevents me going to bed looking like a shiny, greasy mess. And I've also been breaking out less because I'm using less product. Personal experience, if I overuse a product, like a moisturizer especially, I find I break out a lot. And I'm still going to bed looking shiny, dewy, and I go to bed with that more natural shine rather than looking just like completely greasy and like there's product slipping off my face. The final tip that I'm gonna have to take my own advice with is that you don't have to buy every product that you think may benefit your skin. As someone who collects skincare, I literally collect skincare. It's become my job, but I'm obsessed. Like, I've been referred to as a product pusher in the comments before, and I guess I am because that is my hobby. And I want to share all these amazing products I come across with you. You know, I literally put them out on shelves to look at. I'm obsessed. So in turn, I'm always looking for the next best ingredient or the best serum that could finally, you know, do its magic on my skin, or the moisturizer or a face mask that promises all these benefits. And I'm always trying to figure out a routine that would do a million things in one, like helping with my hyperpigmentation, reducing pore size, exfoliating whilst hydrating, and with some anti-aging benefits whilst also moisturizing. It's just not going to happen. It's too much to expect from one routine. One thing I've learned, especially towards the end of the year, after I've ruined my skin, is to really just focus on one thing at a time, and this has really helped my skin. So for example, my current goal is to soothe my irritated skin. My skin is in recovery, and with the skin state at the moment, I've had to sacrifice certain things, like cut back on exfoliation, like little to none, less serums with potent ingredients in, less active ingredients altogether in general, and just focus on healing my skin using products only for that. So ceramides, lipids, panthenol I'm using at the moment as well, but I'm not using products to help with any of my other concerns. concerns at the moment. I've got hyperpigmentation, but I'm not going to be focusing on that either. An example of something I get asked often, like all the time, is do I need to use niacinamide serum? Do I need a hyaluronic acid serum? Do I need to use a retinol? And I'm like, I don't know, do you? I use a hyaluronic acid serum when my skin is really dehydrated to give it that extra helping hand. When my skin's normal, I don't use it. I've got hyaluronic acid in toners and moisturizers. I use niacinamide serum when my skin is looking particularly red or dull, or to help with some hyperpigmentation. But when my skin is again on that normal kind of stage, I don't use it because I've got niacinamide in other products. You know, it really depends what your skin currently needs, I guess. Does that make sense? Like, only get it if your skin needs it. That sounds so obvious. If you have a good routine that's working for you and all your products are working for you and your skin looks great and feels great, stick with it. Only then start introducing stuff like serums or things you want to experiment with. That's my advice and taken from my experience. That way you can really tell what works for you and what you need and what you really don't need as well. But yeah, I hope that was interesting. I hope that helped, I don't know, in some way. These are just little habits that I'm wanting to change, that I have changed, that have made quite a good impact on my skin towards the end of 2019. So going into 2020, I'm going to be focusing on these more. Share your little tips and tricks down below as well. The little things that you do that you feel make such a huge difference on your skin. But that is it from me now, guys. I will see you next time.